What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Punch. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, whether you're watching us here on YouTube or you're listening in on the audio version at TalkTalkPunch.com or wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you come back here every Wednesday to see what we're talking about. Kind of like this week's topic. We are ranking our top 10 movies that we like that the critics did not, according to the Rotten Tomatoes website. We're going 60% and below, and we're listening to
59% and below.
59%. I'm sorry. 60% gets the tomato. 59% gets the green splat that Charlie is right in the center of right now. Charlie has been splat. So
in this case, Brody is the certified fresh, which is 75% or above. Everybody likes that.
Is that what the certified fresh is?
60 to 75%. Yeah. And then the red tomato is anything 60 to 75%, or I guess 74%. And then 59 and below would be considered rotten. Important to note that for a wide release, it has to have 80 reviews in order for it to be metered. For a limited release, it has to be 40 reviews.
Oh, interesting.
So there are some movies that don't qualify, especially some older movies that maybe didn't get as much review at the time and critics haven't gone back to rewatch.
Interesting. I did not realize that.
There you go. The tomato meter, folks.
There you go. Yeah, it's
so we are sponsored today by RottenTomatoes.com. So if you go to their website, tell them Talk Punch sent you,
and they'll
get
say,
a free hat.
"Who?" Kind of like the bounty hunter in Guardians of the Galaxy. Who?
I've got a few emails to send. I got some surprises on my list. Some things I did not think would be rated as lowly by the critics.
Were you surprised? Was this a hard list to make, Charlie?
This was a hard list to make because if you go through the thought exercise of thinking of movies that you enjoy that also probably are bad, it's a very weird, starting point. You're like, okay, well, what do I like that probably other people? And there were some movies that I thought, okay, well, maybe this one's going to be low, and I was surprised to see some high ratings for things. And the reverse is also true. Things I stumbled on, I was like, whoa. I did some actor searches, just kind of like, yeah, well, you know what?
Sure.
I didn't realize, some movies by Tom Cruise are real terrible, and just some, whatever. Going through some of the actors and directors, IMDb's, and just kind of pulling out some things. But yeah, this was a tough one to make. These are not a list of favorite films, so there are a lot on here that I think probably are not great, but maybe deserve to be above that 60% threshold.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah. As I was going through this list, I would go through and I'm like, I am pretty sure I'm the only person that liked this movie. And then I go through and it's like 78%. And I'm like, what?
Hey, you were shocked by RoboCop's rating.
I was shocked by RoboCop. I was shocked by Shoot 'Em Up. Shoot 'Em Up. I mean, this whole list was based on me getting Shoot 'Em Up into a list. And then it came in at the high 60s. And I was like, oh, man. So it was difficult. It took me longer than I thought because I was just kind of going through my flick chart. I was going through my Plex media server, just kind of like, I like that movie, but I don't think other people like that movie. And I think I remember hearing bad things about that movie. So, and then just going through Rotten Tomatoes. I wish they had a better database for low rated movies. They've got a whole bunch of lists for top rated movies, 100%. Yep. But that's not helpful.
A lot of web traffic of people going, I'm really looking for a bad movie to watch tonight. I was really hoping to find something that 30% range.
Hey,
all right,
some
now,
people
have a little
know.
trivia to start tonight, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
A little trivia.
Okay.
What is the single worst rated movie of all time according to RottenTomatoes.com? Remember, wide release has to be at least 80 reviews, at least 40 for a limited release.
It's the X.
You're not gonna guess.
X versus ballistic. X.
Oh,
versus,
did you look this up?
I was just looking through the bottom, and I saw that, and it had a 0, and I was like, that's one that even I didn't want to see, and I love action movies.
Ballistic X vs. Sever has a 0% with 118 different reviews.
That's bad.
So that is
bad.
harsh. That is hardcore.
That was
is,
and that's Antonio Banderas and what's the gal's name? Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. Is that the worst movie title in the history of cinema?
It's pretty bad. Not the worst though.
Pretty bad.
That's still the worst. Is still the Birds of Prey, Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, whatever that it was so bad that they changed the title a week after it was released in theaters.
But at least they changed it. They never changed, to my knowledge. Ballistic X vs. 7 never got changed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
X vs. 7 are not even real names.
That one did not make my list.
Yeah, that was. I never saw it.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
What else you got? What else you got for me? Oh no, that's it for trivia.
Oh no, that was. I just thought it made me laugh that movie was the lowest. I could give you some other 0%ers if you want, but
nah, that's all right.
Would you like some others from the list of the 100 worst rated IMDb films of all time?
Nah, we've already got our own list.
I'm not IMDb. Excuse me, Rotten Tomatoes. All right,
we got our own list.
Give me number 10, bro.
All right.
I wonder if we're gonna have any crossovers.
I don't think so. I don't think we'll have any crossovers between the two of us.
All right. I think we'll have one.
You think one? That would be very interesting.
Taking the over. If you're putting the line at 0.5, I'm taking the over.
I don't think you're gonna like any of my movies. Right, story of my life. All right, my number 10 is Rat Race. Now,
that's a fine movie.
I really like that. I think this movie is very funny. I remember seeing it in the theaters, and it's very funny. This is a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has a 64% viewer rating. Is that what it's called? Viewer rating? Audience rating?
They call it an audience score.
The audience score. Yeah. It's got a 64% audience score and a 44% critic score. I guess I could see why the critics wouldn't like this. It's a pretty stupid movie, right? But it's so funny. I mean, all the stuff with John Lovitz is super. Like this, the stuff with Seth Green and his brother, like still is so funny. I think this movie's hilarious. I could watch this movie anytime.
Yeah, John Cleese,
even
Rowan Atkinson.
Even on the poster, it says quite possibly the funniest movie ever. Charlie, how does that get a low score? How is that 44% according to the critics? This has a killer cast.
They wouldn't lie to you.
Like the cast is killer on this one, man. I don't get why it's so low. Unless you're a critic who just likes, Academy Award dramas, then you probably wouldn't like this.
Could be.
That's my guess. But there you go. Rat Race. My number 10. Hilarious.
All right. Hey, you want to talk about all-star casts?
Yes, I do.
Can I interest you in Philip Seymour Hoffman? Okay. Matthew McConaughey. Perhaps you've heard of him. All right. Can I interest you in Matthew Fox from the TV show Lost? What is this? But what if I told you that Cloris Leachman was also in this film? Huh? Now you're getting excited, right? Now you're salivating.
Super.
The ever underrated Edward Herrmann.
I don't even know who that is.
Are you ready to know what this movie is, bro? Are you ready to know?
Are all those people?
My Boyfriend's Back.
All those people are in that movie?
All those people are in this movie.
Really?
Yeah. This is.
I thought it was the wrong slide for a second. I was like, "Oh no, it's the wrong slide."
It's the wrong slide. No, not the wrong slide, Brody. It is the correct slide because it is that good of a film that it was able to attract Academy Award winners and acclaimed actors, and also Matthew McConaughey. It's not a great movie. Austin Pendleton is in. Have you seen this?
Yeah, we watched it. You went through a phase where you were showing everybody this movie.
This is a guilty pleasure film, like at the absolute core of like the meaning of that. It is a rom-com where this poor guy finally gets up the nerve to ask his high school crush to prom, and then dies in a convenience store robbery. So what does he do? Does he stay dead? No. In the spirit of The Princess Bride, true love to Blave, he comes back to life as a zombie, and hilarity ensues as he then does escort his girlfriend to the prom as a dead man. This got a 14% from the critics. and an audience score of only 45. I'm disappointed more in the audience score than I am in the critic score.
Sure,
This is
sure.
a fantastically funny movie featuring such lines as "You zombie slut" and "Whore of the undead." It is a classic film. Uh, Look, this. I decided to put some of the critic little blurb, just one negative blurb for each movie,
Okay.
just to give you the counterpoint.
Oh, sure.
Simply put, absolutely none of it works. The movie utterly fails to set a foundation for its dark fantasy, effectively turning every character into a moron. So, yes, the teen rom-com about a zombie coming back to life to take his date to the prom is not very intellectual, and it is not very well thought out. They do not give a very good scientific reason as to why he can rise from the dead. But it is funny, and it is dark, and it is cute, and it is surprisingly romantic. It is not available on any of the streaming services, but it is fun if you ever run into it.
Which is surprising because it's a touchstone, so it should be at least on Disney Plus or Hulu.
Thank you.
Should be someplace.
I've sent some letters out, some emails. I'm contacting everyone. I want this widely available. In the meantime, I have it on DVD. Come on over to my place. We'll watch it. It's good stuff.
I do like the tag on that poster where it says one of the year's most delightful surprises, meaning that
Right?
critic went in with such low expectations, like with a title like My Boyfriend's Back and this superb poster, and they were like, "Oh, I gotta go see this thing," and they walked out and they were like, "Not as bad as I thought. That was a delightful surprise."
So, like, I have a spoiler alert. I have a couple movies from the early '90s, including this one, which was '93, and a lot of the critics' reviews draw reference to Wayne's World. I think there's at least 3 movies on my list where someone used Wayne's World as an excuse to badmouth the film that I put on here. Like, people see Wayne's World and they think they can make anything funny, and
Really?
and people really like Wayne's World. That was a critical. I was one I thought maybe I'll put that on my list because I like that movie, but it was like over. I think it was certified fresh. It's over 75% Wayne's World.
What
But,
year
like,
did Wayne's World didn't come out in 90? Wayne's World didn't come out in 93 though.
No, it came out before.
Yeah, like a few years, but that's I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm saying people reference like that movie as like that's the bar, that's the Citizen Kane of dumb comedy, and then anything else that comes after that's trying to be Wayne's World,
Gotcha.
and just not doing it as well as Wayne's World. So anyway,
Gotcha.
it gets used in quite a few reviews to put down some of these films. But
Interesting.
onward we go.
All right, here we go. Number 9. All right, I actually have my list up because I have my additional data. So it's normally these are a surprise because I have a horrible memory and can't remember my list, but I know what they all are this time around. So my number 9 is Kindergarten Cop, the classic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I was shocked that this is at a 51% with, get this, a 52% audience score. That seems very low for both, right? Like, man.
I almost put this on my list.
Really?
I almost did. Yeah, I was surprised that this one was that low.
Yeah, this was, I loved this one as a kid. I like this one as an adult. Like, this is a great movie. I love me some Arnold Schwarzenegger, as you probably know from any of the other lists. I try to get some Arnold Schwarzenegger. Fun fact about Arnold Schwarzenegger that I discovered on Rotten Tomatoes. He has, his lowest rated movie is a 0% with The Villain. And his highest rated is 100% with The Terminator. That's quite a spread.
It's a big spread.
From 0 to 100, I doubt that there's any other actor that can do that. That's the power of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, we know Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu have a 0, so we'll have to check later to see if they have a hundo.
I doubt Antonio. Antonio probably doesn't have 100%. There's no way Lucy Liu has a 100% movie.
We'll see.
But Kindergarten Cop, this is a great movie. It's funny. It's got the action. It's total like 90s. This is one I've thought about showing my kids because I want to get them to see more Arnold Schwarzenegger. They know of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they just haven't seen very much of him. Mostly because the bulk of his movies are rated R for a variety of things. But this one, I think this one is just PG-13, so I could get away with this one. Also, I've got a kid in kindergarten, so it's perfect. But this one, great.
Antonio Banderas has not one, but 2 movies rated 100%.
No,
Confessions of a Superhero and Law of Desire. Boom.
Doggone you.
He also has multiple 0%, but that's the one.
Well,
so he's doing it. He's living those extremes.
I guess Antonio Banderas is as good as Arnold then. Whatever. I thought that was a cool fact, Charlie. Thanks for ruining it. All right. Well, there's my number 9, Kindergarten Cop.
Number 9.
All right. Your number 9, Charlie.
My number 9 is another 90s time capsule.
Oh, I forgot.
Encino Man.
Okay, I thought about this movie as I was thinking about the list, and then as I was building the list, I realized I totally forgot about it.
Well,
another Wayne's World
reference.
It is
right. I'm telling you, Wayne's World was the surprise hit. But anyway, this was 92, and I gotta share. This was a movie I saw as a young man, and it influenced me in a few different ways. You'll notice that Brandon Fraser, who is featured here next to Pauly Shore, who we all have to someday collectively decide how we want to deal with that, talking to our kids about Pauly Shore and why he was a thing in the 90s. But the Weasel. So you notice Brandon Fraser's rocking the T-shirt with like a vest.
Yeah.
This was a very 90s thing.
Very 90s thing.
And so I'm gonna share a quick little photo with you here.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Featured in this picture.
Oh, yes.
Is me and a few friends. And
I know multiple of those guys. Oh my goodness.
So
Holy
I am
smokes.
rocking the amazing Miller's Outpost purchased flannel vest. They're straight up inspired by Encino Man. Now, that's not even the most embarrassing part of this photo. And look, there's a lot to unpack here, and it's all bad. From the tucked in shirt with the belt into my shorts, on down to the fact that I'm wearing Birkenstocks with socks. It is a terrible 90s
and like a 4XL vest, nonetheless. It's not even like it's fitted right, man. That thing's like down to your thighs.
Everything was big. It was a very mismatch. The 90s were a weird time for clothes.
Oh, I remember.
And especially, where I lived, everything was, the style was to wear big. You were supposed to show your boxers, I guess, was part of the, So I had a weird hybrid.
We're going to go like that. No, not that much bigger.
Okay, let's get rid of the photo. Nobody wants to see that anymore. That's terrible stuff.
Can you send that to me, please?
Yes, I can. You are that's part of the reason I'm rocking a belt in that picture is because normally my pants would sag a little bit low. Wear big, show off the boxers, and rock the sweater vest. But anyway, Encino Man, more than just a fashion statement. Brandon Fraser is very funny. Sean Astin, Robin Tunney. It's got a nice cast. I don't think this movie is particularly good, but I do think that it deserves better than a 17%. Which feels to me a little bit like you're seeing this movie expecting it to be something other than what this movie is. And this is a hard movie, I think, to see any preview of, know anything about, and then go into thinking you have some expectation loftier than what it is, which is a high school 90s film where a caveman is thawed back to life and becomes the life of the party.
Yep.
Brandon Fraser is very funny in this, and it is very, very 90s. So if you're ever... Look, if you want to just get in a little time machine and go visit a much weirder time fashionably, look at this hair. I wanted that hair. I grew my bangs out so bad, but I could never. And then you frizz them a little bit to kind of look more like a caveman. Oh man, it was good stuff. But yeah. Oh, you know what? I just realized, Brody, I'm not changing my background. What am I doing here?
Oh, I thought you were just hanging with the splat.
No, look at this. Is a
there you
classic
go.
All right. Anyway, I'm sorry, folks. I've been slacking.
There you go.
But yeah, if you get a chance to again, this one is not on streaming, but if you get a chance to run into it, I think it's kind of fun.
Shame.
If you don't know who Pauly Shore is, watch a movie. This one's Son-in-Law, something, I don't know.
He just came out with a new movie like last year.
Did he
Fun
really?
fact.
Oh my gosh!
He did.
All right,
he did.
Well, this had a 56% audience score, which I think is better. Like if this had been like a 50, I probably would have just left it off my list. But I wanted to bring a little 90s attention to the classic Encino Man because 70% is just too low.
I like how the CBS radio network is the same person that gave My Boyfriend's Back a good review tagline.
He liked all the bad 90s stuff. So this is. He was in the pocket of some of these
They're like,
movies.
Send Bill. He loves those movies.
You like Wayne's World? You're gonna love My Boyfriend's Back and Encino Man. Let me tell you. Oh, by the way, the bad quote here is low budget quickie is insulting even with its own no effort parameters.
I love it.
Go see it.
Go see it. All right, number 8. My number 8 is Underworld. I was actually
this on my list too.
I was really surprised that this had a 31% critic review.
Yeah.
Now it does have
hated it.
It does have a 79% audience review. So like normal people liked it. And I remember it being popular. I really liked it. It was just a cool, fun action thing. Kate Beckinsale was great. The special effects were cool back in 2003 or whenever this came out. But this was really cool. And it spawned a franchise. And the entire franchise, like, this is one of the higher rated ones, I think. Because they all got splats. Like, the critics hated these movies, apparently. And I think I only saw the first two. But that's one that, like, I feel like I could go back and I could watch the rest of them. They might be fun. I liked this one enough that I'd go back. I was into it. But yeah, so for being a vampire versus werewolf, cool action movie. It was before Twilight. Vampires versus werewolves. But yeah, it was good. I would still watch this one. I still recommend this one. Go check this one out if you haven't seen it. It's a fun action movie. There's no tags on there for quotes. So you almost put this one on your list. What did you see? Did you see this in theaters? Did you see any of the sequels or anything on this one?
I did see it in theaters. I'm not a big vampire guy. I never had a big vampire phase, and so it was entertaining. It was a good action flick, but I didn't get into the franchise. I don't think I saw any of the sequels. But it was enjoyable. It certainly deserved better than a 30 whatever percent that
31
was presented on the.
Yeah, I had a big crush on Kate Beckinsale after this. All right.
Was this the one? This is the one that with the guy that looks like Tudong, right?
Yeah, Scott Speedman.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Dylan had a big crush on him. All right. So what are we doing? My number 8.
You're number 8.
All right. You want to talk about?
Oh, sorry. I moved right into it.
Oh no, you can't. St. Elmo's Fire is my number 8.
You love this movie. I'm surprised this is number 8.
Look, I've gotten older. The distance here has certainly lessened some of this film's influence on me. Look, I saw this very young, far too young to really understand anything that was happening in this movie. But I have a fond memory of it because I watched it with my older sister, and so it's just a memory that I have that is very it's nice. I watched it with her a few times, and before some family stuff happened, and it had a special place in my heart. Then I had like a resurgence when I was kind of in high school and into college, where one of my really close friends, Top Cat, she and I would watch it and do the booga 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 and you want to talk about an all-star cast? Can I interest you in a little Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy, Mayor Winningham, Andy McDowell? Just to name a few.
This was like the Brat Pack
off the top of my head.
Kind of the Brat Pack.
This is the movie that really made the Brat Pack. So this is a Joel Schumacher vehicle, and I think you and I both agree that he did not make a lot of great movies.
He didn't.
And
not everyone was bad though. Not everyone was bad though.
No. And he not only directed it, he kind of co-wrote it. Look, is this a great film? No, it's like a precursor. It's like almost like a Friends in a way. It's a dramedy. It's this post-college, pre-career, trying to figure out life kind of thing. Where they're just kind of in this glom, spending a lot of time together, and it's kind of a lot of intersecting stories. And because there's so much happening in the movie, it's a huge cast. There's so many stories going on. Probably they don't get very developed or fleshed out as well as they could. It would have made a better television show. Maybe I should have put this on my movies that would have made a better television show list. This would have been probably a very interesting, dramedy series that could have been, fun. It's, Andrew McCarthy, I had an unnatural attachment to him. Fun story though, or fun story. I don't know. Not a story.
Sorry, do you have a background for this, Charlie?
Oh gosh, Brody, you are on it. I am off it today. I'm not getting my backgrounds up, Brody. Brody, what is wrong?
Just looking out for you, man.
Brody, you are looking out for me so good. All right. It's not a great background. Here it is. Here they are. So, John Hughes had recommended Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, and Ali Sheedy to Joel Schumacher. And this movie was getting made before Breakfast Club hit theaters, or right as Breakfast Club was about to hit theaters.
Okay.
So they weren't stars yet. So he had to fight to get them in this movie. Demi Moore was not a star yet. She was just she'd done maybe one role. Andrew McCarthy had only done one big role, and it was kind of a under the radar kind of film. So it was, none of these they weren't big stars at the time of the casting. Of course, by the time the movie hit, Breakfast Club had become a smash, and
sure,
and so it kind of propelled this movie, I think, into a little bit more of the spotlight than it would have been if maybe the order had been reversed between this and Breakfast Club. But if you, again, I was talking the 90s time capsule with Encino Man. You want an 80s time capsule, or at least what I imagine the 80s were like to be around this age, because I was not in the 80s. But it's a fun movie. Andrew McCarthy. I modeled a lot of my cynicism after his character in this movie, sadly. Love. You know what love is? Love is an illusion created by lawyer types like yourself to perpetuate another illusion called marriage, to perpetuate the reality of divorce and an illusionary need for divorce lawyers. He was very cynical, very moody. I was like, that's me. I love that guy. Andrew McCarthy. Anyway, also Lucy Liu, fun fact, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, 100% on the tomato review.
Oh my gosh.
Only 5 reviews though. Only 5 reviews.
Oh, so it doesn't count.
To be fair, it's a yeah.
Here I thought I found this this jewel of a fact, and I was like, he's got a 0 and a 100. There's nobody else that can do that.
I should let you have it.
You just come in, man. All right.
Anyway, yeah. If you somehow miss this one, give it a watch. It's okay. Oh, I didn't say the score. This is a 43% critic, 68% audience.
Interesting. All right. My number 7. The Greatest Showman. That might be the most recent. Maybe. I don't know. It only came out a few years ago. Now, for people that have watched previous lists, they know that Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I remember going to see a movie, and the trailer for this came on, and I got real big Moulin Rouge vibes. It was a musical, and it was spectacles and dancing and all this crazy stuff. And I got really excited. And it had Hugh Jackman. And it had Zac Efron. I really like Zac Efron. And so I was stoked. And then Amy and I went and we saw it, and the movie's fine. I actually I think both me and Amy enjoyed the soundtrack more than the movie itself. The soundtrack's really good, and the movie's good too. But this movie got a 57%, so just a smidge below the full tomato.
It counts. It's a splatter.
But it has an 86% audience score.
Yeah,
so
it's a fun movie.
The people liked it, and I liked it too. It was a good one. Yeah, and then even talking with friends, and they were like, "Oh, we love this movie," and stuff like that. So Well, yeah, I was really surprised. I think I was just looking up like Hugh Jackman because I wanted to see like where all the Wolverines and stuff like that fell, and then I saw that this had like a splat, and I was very surprised. So,
Nice.
but yeah, this is a good one. It's fun. I really like the cast. I really like the songs. I dig it.
Dig it. Dig'ems. Hey, bro, before you get to my next slide,
Okay.
I forgot to read my critic quote about St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, okay.
Estevez and Nelson are as unappealing here as in The Breakfast Club. Though in fairness, they're hampered by a script that seems to despise its characters. So by the end, will you?
Wow. Harsh. That's pretty harsh.
You think that's harsh? Wait till you see my next film, also starring one young Emilio. Emilio!
Oh. What could it be? Oh,
The Mighty Duck Man himself.
really? This is a splat?
Would you care to guess the audience rating here quickly, Brim? What do you think?
Oh, the audience rating has got to be high.
Audience rating is 65%.
Oh, I would have thought
So
it
not
was
as
a lot
high as I
higher
would have
than
even
that.
thought.
I thought it was.
The critics, however. Go ahead, take a guess.
Well, like 23.
21.
Whoa,
Harsh.
close. That is harsh.
They did
though.
not like The Duck Man.
I really liked this
This is a
movie as a
movie-
kid.
This is a movie that not only spanned a movie franchise and now a TV show. It birthed
A whole
hockey in my
team.
hometown.
Yeah, a whole
the Ducks,
team.
they won a Stanley Cup. All thanks to Emilio Estevez. How many movies can lay claim to that? They birthed the franchise.
Yeah.
I will read you now a very well thought out and concise critical review of this film. Very lame ice hockey flick. So,
Wow.
so they, I mean, like
Person wasn't getting
when the
paid
critics
per
are
word,
putting that
huh?
much effort- when they're putting that much effort into, what can you do? How do you? So, fun fact about this film is this guy right here played like Fulmer in the movie. People used to say that the bass player in my band looked like him grown up, and so every time we play a show, I would introduce him as being the act. So we actually played at the Anaheim House of Blues, and I said, and fun, I was like, oh, and make sure after the show you get an autograph of our bass player. You guys may recognize him from his role in the Mighty Ducks, and I kid you not, there was a little bit of a line. He had about like 6 to 7 people who all got photos with him and got him to autograph something after the show, the Mighty Duck Man. So, G, if you're watching, I don't think you actually look that much like this kid, but hey, somewhere out there's at least 6 or 7 people telling the story of the time they met the bass player from this random band who happened to be in the Mighty Ducks film. So,
Charlie, who's famous for doing that to people, I know you've done it to me multiple times over the years. I remember when you introduced me to one of your mom's students as like I was Cyclops from the X-Men movies, and the kid was like starstruck, and I was like, do I let him down? Like, yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm laughing now. I don't know. It was just so fun back in the day just to say things. Now nowadays, you could people, little 6-year-old probably pull out like his cell phone and be like, no,
Yeah,
I'm on
right.
IMDb right now. This ain't Cyclops. But back in the day, it was just like, all right, yeah, he's telling the truth.
Just go with it. You're an adult. I believe adults.
I've told that my first kiss was also to this film. So and my very first in-person date. So I've told that story on a previous podcast. Brody will link to it below. Very exciting story.
I don't know what video that was.
Some personal. Honestly, neither do I. But yeah, there you go.
Just
Mighty
go
Ducks.
watch
Very
all of our
romantic
videos
film.
till you find it.
Yeah, watch it with the person you love. It is not a lame ice hockey flick.
No.
In fact, this movie makes ice hockey cool.
Sure does. All right. Number 6. I have a burp, like right there. It's just hanging out right there.
Let it out, man. Let it out.
It's
We're
just
friends
stuck.
here.
It's just stuck. At some point,
Would it help if I
I'm gonna be in the middle of a
showed you
talk.
this?
and
Would
something-
this help the burp get out?
Take
Is this
it
going to
off.
help the burp out?
No.
Get the burp out.
No, Charlie.
Okay,
that
alright.
lets the gag. I gag it.
All right. Well, I don't know what you need.
All right. My number 6, Big Trouble.
Oh, I had this on my list until like the last second, and I pulled it.
Did you really? Oh,
Yeah.
this might be like one of my favorite comedies of all time.
It's funny.
This I saw in theaters, and I laughed and laughed, and then I bought it on DVD, and I would show everybody that I could this movie. It is so funny, and it's one of these big, ensemble movies where you've got this huge cast. You can see some of the names up there, just like intertwining stories, and they're all so funny. I know that this dealt with like a bomb going onto a plane and was scheduled to come out like the weekend of 9/11, and then they had to like push it real fast because it was, they're like blowing through the airport security. It was just like it was bad. But like, oh man, this movie still makes me laugh. And this was 2001, so this is now 20 years old. And this movie holds up. It is so funny. This has a 48% critic score and a 54% audience score. And I honestly don't understand why it's so low. It's so funny. I don't get why people it's not like it's super slapsticky. It's a lot of funny dialogue and quick quips and situational comedy. Like it's got so much to it. So I don't understand why it's so low. This is baffling.
I don't remember why we talked about this before on the podcast, but I know we briefly talked about it because my favorite joke from this movie is when the dumb, like Johnny Knoxville and the guy are driving they have people kidnapped. They're going to the airport, and there's the arrivals and the departures, and they're like, well, we're arriving at the airport, but we're departing on a plane, and they can't figure out which one to go to. And I feel like every time I've been to an airport since, I've said that out loud. People always just look at me weird, but I think about it every time. So this movie has that one moment like burned in my brain.
Oh,
it's
man.
a little bit like if you saw Get Shorty, which is a great movie. I feel like if you saw Get Shorty but didn't see this, and you enjoyed Get Shorty, watch this because there's some similar I think layers in like the way that it's done in the comedy and stuff. So I recommend it.
And
it's
just
funny.
the running jokes that go through the whole movie. Jason Lee with his Fritos, and oh gosh, it's just Tim Allen with the little car, like all of it. I really recommend it. I think we might have done a top 10 comedies. Did we do a top 10 comedies? Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we just talked about comedy movies, but anyway.
Oh, maybe we did.
You ready? Are you ready for my number 6, Brodo?
I sure am, Charlie.
No. All right. National Treasure. Now, this is a movie that has a 46% on the old tomato meter.
Really?
But a 76% on the audience score, giving it a nice, crisp, even 30% differential. The critic review that I will highlight here says, if you can see the film through the eyes of a child, one who thinks a cheesy thriller is the ideal way to pick up new facts about history, then this isn't that bad of a yarn.
Jeez.
So,
critics are so mean.
It's one of the nicer reviews that I could find. Fun fact here, they're making a TV series for Disney Plus.
Yeah, I heard that. Is it going to have Nicolas Cage?
Which I think, if it's worth its weight in salt, it'll have the Cage Man himself, or maybe not.
Nicolas Cage is probably somebody that I could have looked up for this list.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I do know this. I know the answer to this. Jess Morales is gonna be the main character.
I don't know who
She's
that is.
a Latin female treasure hunter. It's just a new character. So they're kind of doing a different spin, non-Nicolas Cage spin. Probably good at this point. You want to talk about 0 to 100? The Nick Cage. Go look at the Nick Cage movies. That guy's maybe not doing a lot of zeros or hundreds, but close. Although I think Left Behind was like a 4%. And
that was really low.
I think for that. That was a real bad movie. And then I was surprised how Face Off was real high on the media. It was like
Face
certified
Off,
fresh.
really?
I'll put Face Off on my list. That's kind of a fun one, but instead we ended up here with National Treasure, looking at Nick Cage movies. This was a fun. I watched this with my kids. This was an enjoyable. Like it's not Shakespeare here. We know what it is. It's like a Indiana Jones-esque.
Yeah. But with American history,
like using some real American history, mostly not, to kind of tell like a fun little treasure hunting story.
Sure.
And kind of it's not a bad movie, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad they're doing a TV series. I will watch that with the kids. I think that'll be fun. So.
Yeah, I believe this one is on Disney Plus.
This one is on Disney Plus, Brody. It is. And so is The Mighty Ducks. So the last two that I've talked about, if you've never seen The Ducks and you've never seen The Treasure, hop on the old Disney Plus and give them a watch.
I know I saw National Treasure. I don't think I saw the sequel, though.
I mean, if you liked the first one, it's kind of just the same movie.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of variance. I don't think the quality of this one is good enough that I feel like it got sullied by the sequel. I think it's kind of like, on par. It's certainly not like a Raiders or Last Crusade,
sure,
like Crystal Skull situation or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of similar formula.
All right. Number 5. My number 5 is TMNT, the animated one that came out in 2007. It was like after the live action stuff and then before the live action CGI reboot, and I think they were going to like reboot the franchise with the animated. And I really liked this one. Man, I was stoked. Being like 9 years old or something like that when these were really popular in like 89, 90, I was stoked because I was a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kid. And so to have an animated one where they could move like ninjas and they could do all this cool stuff that you couldn't do with the puppet versions in the original movies. Now, shockingly, like all of the Ninja Turtle movies are splats. None of them are full tomatoes. They all got ripped apart by critics. Critics don't like the Ninja Turtles. Man, they don't. But this one was probably not my favorite. It was a little bit different story-wise. You don't have Shredder. You kind of have this like a ghost type, or not a ghost, but like this immortal guy who's looking to collect stuff and
That's
has
like a ghost, huh?
And
like Scooby-Doo style.
Well, he's like trying to collect stuff, and there's supernatural stuff going on. But the way that they were able to animate the turtles to be able to do cool stuff that, like I said, you just can't do with live action. And so I was really excited after this to see where this went, and then they just never made another one. And I was so bummed, and then they started coming out with the CGI stuff that the CGI ones just weren't good. So this one,
once you got Corey Feldman out of the project, it was all downhill.
Well, Corey Feldman wasn't there for Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. But then I believe he came back for Turtles 3, which was probably the worst of the entire franchise, including the new CGI ones. Man,
fair enough.
Even as a kid, I remember walking out of Turtles 3 and being like, man, I didn't like that movie. And I love the Ninja Turtles, and I'm a kid, so I love everything, but I didn't like that movie.
Even I know that was garbage. Fun fact: they actually they modeled the splat after the green ooze that turned the regular turtles into Ninja Turtles.
To hopefully,
that's why they keep getting splats.
To hopefully mutate the bad movies into good movies.
Someday there'll be a good Turtles movie, bro.
Man, I hope so. Well, this is a good Turtles movie. I really like this, but this has a 34% critic rating and a 60% audience rating. Now, I know critics, they don't like the Turtles anyways. But the audience rating, come on, people. You're just not Turtles fans. You're not real Turtles fans.
That's right.
That's what I say. That's what I say about that. All right, Charlie, your number 5.
My next one might surprise you, bro.
Is it TMNT?
It is. But it's The Boondock Saints.
This has a low rating?
Brody, what would you guess the critic rating of this film is? Now that you know it's below 60.
Honestly, if you had asked me yesterday, I would have said like in the 80s probably. But knowing that it's below 60, it's got to be in the 50s.
28%.
Really?
28%. Now this is available on Prime, and
odd.
out of all the movies on my list, it is the biggest gap of audience to critic score. So the audience
got to be like 90.
91%. 91%. So it is a huge difference there in how it's perceived by critics and by audience, and like it makes sense to an extent. So the critic I'll highlight here says it's a dim-witted, aesthetically clunky Tarantino clone. And probably there's some truth to that. There were other reviewers who said it was style over substance, so maybe not as clunky visually as this person thought it was. And is there a popcorny nature to this film? You know, like an action movie, kind of vigilante revenge kind of flick? Sure. But there's a space for that, like the John Wicks and some of these other shoot 'em up that you mentioned before that seem to have found a niche critically that this movie just did not find. People just hated it. So it was odd. I used to the first time I saw this, I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of fun action. Willem Dafoe is just fantastic. There's some laugh out loud moments and some pretty good action, and it was a lot of interesting gunplay, and it's certainly very violent and over the top, and probably lacking in true heart and character development. But it's a popcorn flick. You kind of watch it and you don't think too deep about it, and just enjoy it. So I was surprised. I was really surprised. I wanted to put this on the list for sure, just because I would not have guessed 28%.
Yeah, I would not have guessed.
You can judge for yourself.
Either.
So if you've never seen the Boondock Brothers, you can check them out. It is on Amazon Prime. So one of the easier subscriptions. If you have a Prime subscription for deliveries, you get access to the Prime movies. So watch it and let us know what you think.
There you go. All right. Number 4. Now, my number 4 has appeared on a list previously. But
Brody,
it was on the movies that we haven't seen. That then I saw.
You've seen it now.
I've seen it, and I liked it. But
was it Tokyo Drift?
But the critics didn't. That was not on my list. Tokyo Drift was not on my list. But The Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies was on my list because I had seen the first 2 in theaters. And then I think I had a kid show up right around when the third one was coming out, and so it just fell off the radar. But then we read the books with the kid. We read the book because Hobbit is just one book. Read the book with the kids, and then watched all the movies. And yes, the Battle of Five Armies in the book is really just a couple chapters. It's not long, and it's quite different. But this is still a fun movie, and it's still in Middle Earth. It's still Lord of the Rings. We still get Bilbo and Gandalf. We like all this cool stuff. It's still a fun movie. I don't get now the critic score is the highest on my list at 59%. So yes, technically it is still a splat.
One more good review and it's off the list.
Yeah, I know. So this one was kind of right in that edge. But even, like the Lord of the Rings stuff, I believe is pretty well loved. So I was still kind of surprised to see this rated as low as it was. It is a 74 on the audience score. But I think I remember people not liking the Hobbit movies as much as the Lord of the Rings. And, whether part of that was, Lord of the Rings was 3 books that they turned into 3 movies, and this was 1 book that they turned into 3 movies.
Right.
And people were just like, that's a lot to, pull out of this 1 book. But I really enjoyed them all, watching them all. We didn't binge, back to back, but within a pretty close amount of time. And they were all really enjoyable. So,
yeah.
There you go. There's my number 4. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
I like both trilogies. So there you go.
Here we go.
All right.
All right, my number 4.
Your number 4. Oh,
Equilibrium.
Man. Didn't I show you this movie?
I don't remember who initially showed it to me, but it could have been you, Tudong, or it could have just been something I discovered on my own and then showed you, Brode.
No, because
I like this movie.
I went and I saw this movie right when he was cast as Batman.
Yeah, but I'd already seen it at that point.
Had you?
Of course, obviously. Anyway, so Equilibrium is a real bummer of a movie. It's a real downer. And there was a time in my life where I thought, that's cool, man. I like sad movies. Bring on the dark. So it's a little bit lower on my list now than it maybe would have been 5 years ago or 10 years ago. For now I like my top 1. Spoiler: they're all comedies. This one. So this is my this is the perfect Christian Bale role because he is this. Just seems like his personality kind of intense.
Sure.
Very stoic, little plastic. Not a lot of personality. No offense, Christian Bale, but let's be honest. Come on. It's not like he's doing a lot of comedies out there. He's not like Ryan Reynolds out there making people laugh.
He's going to be in Thor 4.
And will he be playing a comedic role or will he be playing a straight man doing hi, I'm Christian Bale and I'm very upset?
No, I think he's playing Gore, the God Butcher.
Yeah. Okay, so intense. All right, so the quote I will levy here. And by the way, 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. Too low.
That is
41%.
too low. That is too
audience
low.
Score of 81%. I put this up in the 7s, personally. But the dumbest view of the future I've seen, and reader, I Survived John Travolta in Battlefield Earth.
Oh,
that is a harsh.
Come on.
That is a harsh review, right? Come on.
That's unnecessary. That's unnecessary.
Right? Look, part of what Rotten Tomatoes has as I think is kind of interesting in a good way and bad way, is it has people that have it that these reviews that come out right when the movie comes out. But there's also people who have gone just back retroactively and reviewing St. Elmo's Fire, which was made in the 80s in 2020. Obviously, you're gonna have a very different view of the world and things. There's certainly elements of Equilibrium that I think were more interesting around here. I think The Matrix was great, and that I think it kind of really mainstreamed a lot of interesting sci-fi things, and probably got a lot of sci-fi movies made that maybe wouldn't have gotten made. But also, everyone just compared everything to The Matrix.
It's true.
And it's and it was such a huge thing when it came out. I think this movie kind of suffered from that.
It's like comedies in Wayne's World from the 90s.
Right? Gosh, let it go. Wayne's World was great. But Encino Man can also be funny. It doesn't have to be Wayne's World.
Matrix was great, and Equilibrium was great.
Yeah, my worldview is big enough to support it. I think this one suffered. Dark City suffered. There's a few really good sci-fis from that era that I just don't think got as much noticed as they would have otherwise. But this one is not on any of the main streaming services. But if you ever get a chance to watch it, or maybe just rent it, I don't know, you can still rent movies from Amazon Prime and things like that. It'd be worth it if you're a sci-fi fan.
I have this one on DVD.
But it is a bummer, so just be aware. It is a bummer.
I enjoyed it.
It's a good movie.
All righty. Number 3. All right, Charlie. We are not going to have any crossovers.
We almost did. We almost had 3 crossovers.
Looking at my top 3, we're not crossing over.
No chance, huh?
No.
Okay.
All right. My number 3, I loved this movie back in the day. Oh, man. Event Horizon. This was my This was my go-to date movie. You can ask my wife. I made her watch it, and she hated it. But this, man, we got Lawrence Fishburne. We got Sam Neill. We got Jason Isaacs. Space. They create a black hole. And they send the ship through the black hole, and it disappears for 7 years, and then it comes back. Where did it go? Nobody knows. And so they got to send a rescue team to check it out. And it's possessed. And is it demonic? Did it go to hell? That's what people said. Didn't actually say that. Just went to another dimension. But it's kind of scary. It's got some jump scares. This is a great movie.
This was the equivalent of the sock on the door. So like if I came home and I could hear Ben Hurton on, I know I better not go to Sturk Road. He's in there with a lady. That, give him a little privacy.
Now,
you're the best, bro. This is the most bizarre date movie.
Why was it my go-to date movie? Man, I have no idea. Just wanted to see if I could scare them away. If they stuck around, then I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm dark and complicated and brooding, but also hey, it's a scary movie. That there's some cuddling involved in that.
Sure.
I'm so scared, and then it's oh yeah, I'm strong, Brody, and nothing scares me. You want to watch it again?
This one is the lowest critically rated on my list. This one comes in at 29%.
Oh wow! All right,
29%, but 61%.
Are you making fun of me for having 3 underneath that?
No,
4. I've got 4 underneath that.
Really?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
61% audience. So according to the audience, this
better.
is fresh, and they're gonna Amazon is making a show out of this.
This would be a good show. I tease you about this movie, but I would watch this as a show.
I would watch it as a show too, and I don't like horror. If this came out now, there's no way I'm watching this. But when I was 16 or so, whenever this came out, I don't know. I was all into it, man. Space.
Yeah, you were.
Infinite space, infinite terror. You know what I'm saying? So, there is my number 3. Vent Horizon. Do you see? Do you see? Yes, I see.
Like a reference that 5 people out there are I've seen that movie.
That one's for you too, Dom. I'm sure you've seen it. All right.
All right. So my
Your
number 3 also takes place in space.
What? This is low rated?
Spaceballs.
Really?
So this is my highest rated, low rated.
Okay.
And it comes in at a crisp 56%. It is an 83% audience score.
So low. This is
It does.
Man.
So I was surprised that this one was under the threshold, and I think this probably falls victim to what a lot of these movies what do you review? People are okay. It's sad seeing once great comic genius in decline. Was one of the reviewers talking about this. Look, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, whatever, they were great, but they were different.
Sure.
Satirizing different subject materials,
different time,
and just different time, and you can love those, and still find room in your heart for Spaceballs. But there was a lot of people who just, I don't think, liked sci-fi, and maybe didn't like Star Wars, or maybe just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was too on the nose. I don't know. But I read some of the reviews, and look, for a lot of these movies, I could nod along with some of the negative reviews. I'd be like, yeah, okay, true, okay, yeah, great. But I still like this movie. A lot of the reviews just didn't make sense to me, and so look, this is if you like Star Wars, watch Spaceballs. It's great. Mel Brooks is hilarious. This is a very funny movie.
It is.
I think it holds up just about as well as the original Star Wars. So
sure.
If you're still a fan of the original Star Wars, you can be a fan of the parody of the original Star Wars. Some great moments. There's some great quotable lines. Just from Rick Moranis especially.
Sure.
I think he's a national treasure, and we all love. We don't agree on much as a society, but we can agree on Rick Moranis.
Absolutely. I'm. It makes me genuinely a little bit sad that it is that low. I'm.
Yeah. Are you going to show your kids
Shocked.
Spaceballs at some point?
Oh, I have shown them already. Yep. Yeah, they've seen it. So there was.
All right. What's your number?
We watched it, and there was a bit more cussing than I think I remembered. And we had to skip the alien parody at the end because they just weren't ready for that. Well, at least the chest bursting scene. I think I let them see it dancing, and I think they laughed at that.
Dancing's the best part. Hello, my baby.
But
hello,
for
my honey.
the actual like chest bursting scene, I think I might have skipped that. But yeah, they enjoyed it.
Oh, my own best friend. Perfect John Candy impression.
I'm a Mog, half man,
human, half
dog. I'm my own best friend.
I'm my own best friend.
Oh, so good. I miss John Candy. All right. Number 2. You're going to be mad at me, Charlie. Oh, you're going to be mad at me. You're going to be mad at me.
What did you do? Oh, get this out of here. This is whatever this is rated, it's too high.
I like Man of Steel. I do. I like Man of Steel. I saw it in theaters and I liked it. I have shown my kids and I liked it. I enjoyed it. Is it a perfect movie?
I'm sure you showed your.
Is it a perfect movie?
Did
No.
they like it, though?
No, it's not a perfect movie. Is there stuff that doesn't make sense? No. Did he have to let his dad die? No. Okay. But it's a fun Superman flick. And I really like Henry Cavill as Superman.
Is fun really the word you would choose to use to describe this?
Yes. We get cool shots of Krypton like we've never seen before. Okay, because old school
something can be cool without being fun.
Old school Krypton from the original movies was really kind of like a glass planet, right? We didn't get to see a whole lot of it. We got cool Russell Crowe flying around on crazy looking animals. Okay, we got really cool Michael Shannon being a really neat villain. I liked Michael Shannon's Zod. Okay, I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I like Henry Cavill overall, and I like him as Superman. I enjoyed this movie. It's a 56% critical, but a 75% audience. I'm not alone, Charlie. I'm not alone. People enjoy this movie. Yes, the rest of the DCU is not good, but I liked this one.
No, can I read you a couple just little critic reviews here?
Sure.
Just little blurbies.
Sure. Positive or negative?
It's curious how No, they're all positive. These are the nicest ones I could find. Oh. It's curious how the abstraction of CGI carnage and the abstraction of plot verbiage seem to go hand in hand. But one thing missing from this resolutely earnest film is humor, which is odd when you consider it's based on a comic book. Snyder needs to learn the art of subtlety. Man of Steel fails because it forgets its origins. It's a film full of angst and devoid of humor.
But
Shannon is no great shake as the shouty villain, and Adams does little with the thankless role. As for Cavill, he certainly looks the part, but lacks crucial charm and charisma.
Oh,
the two essential qualities of any Man of Steel.
Baloney.
All right. Anyway.
Okay.
I could go on, but I'll.
So I saw Superman Returns in theaters, and what did everybody not like about that movie? There's not enough action, right? He's just kind of a mopey Superman. He doesn't do anything. Superman Returns with Brandon Routh, and people complained about it because there was no action, right? Like the biggest action was
nobody likes downer Superman movies,
the airplane scene, and so then they come out with this one that has a lot of action, and people are like, it's got too much action. He flies around and hits Zod too many times. In Metropolis. Yes, Metropolis got destroyed. Yes, millions of people died. I get that. Okay. But I still enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. And I'll still watch it. I'll watch this one again. Right. I enjoyed it.
We should have a movie court episode where we get to plead our cases. and have an unbiased neutral party deliver a verdict. Because I just disagree with everything you're saying, but it's okay. I still love you, and that's all right. That's all that matters. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with all of our opinions about movies.
True.
We can still respect each other at the end of the day.
It's true.
Brody likes a brooding, dark Superman who flies around and is mopey and is sad all the time.
He wasn't
and
sad
listens
all
to,
the time.
Like, The Cure, and
No, he
goes to his
wasn't
bathroom
listening
and
to the
just
Cure.
cries himself to sleep. And,
That's not true.
you know,
That's not true.
it's on Tori Amos. And anyway, my number 2 is a much more lighthearted film, and it's available on Hulu.
Is it really?
Weekend at Bernie's. Oh yeah, you can watch this on Hulu. Now Brody can't because he is not a subscriber to our sponsor, Hulu, which is a fantastic service, and I recommend it.
There's too many.
And thank them. Thank you for sponsoring us. It is one of the cheaper subscriptions, and it is one of the more jam-packed
I
subscriptions.
prepaid for 3 years of Disney Plus. I can't. If I change my subscription, I lose that deal, Charlie.
I'm not asking you to change your subscription. I'm asking you to subscribe to Hulu for like $9 a month. We have an upcoming episode where we're gonna go through the subscription services. We're gonna convince Brody to get Hulu. Anyway, this is a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, and it is a 57% audience score. It is the closest matching there, and they're all wrong. This is the critic I will highlight here says a silly, uninspired, juvenile, one-joke film. And yeah, the joke is the guy's dead.
Yes,
it's hilarious. Everybody loves Wicked. Look at it.
Also super creepy. Also super creepy when you think about it.
Like Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman have amazing chemistry in this. They're very funny. It's been a few years since I've seen it, so I'm not sure exactly. But now I'm gonna watch it on Hulu this week. So I didn't realize it was on Hulu until I was doing this list. So I'm gonna go check this out again and just enjoy it because I want to see how soon I can show my kids this movie because it is. I know that there's a little bit of necrophilia in it, but it happens off screen. That's okay. That's okay. The kids got to learn at some point, bro. They need to learn.
I loved this movie when I was a kid, and I thought this was so funny when I was a kid. When I was like, when did this come out? Like 92 or something like that? 91, maybe?
I will tell you exactly here in 1 second, but keep talking.
And so I watched it, and maybe I watched
89.
Oh, okay. So maybe I was watching it on like the syndication TBS Sunday movie special or something like that, But I thought this movie was hilarious when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in over 2 decades, but
does it hold up? It doesn't matter. It's a cultural phenomenon. All right, you're out with your buddies, and one of them is maybe a little tipsy or maybe a little tired, and you're propping him up, and you make hey, it's like a Weekend at Bernie's over here with this guy, huh? And everyone's like, oh yeah, forget about it. We're all in New York for some reason. That's a spot on New York accent. You're welcome. Forget about it. Over here, we got Bernie over here. He can't walk on his own. No, everybody thinks he's alive. It's an important cultural touchstone.
Sure.
To understand what this movie is, and you should definitely watch it. It's on Hulu. Check it out, and thank me later. It is the very definition of a movie in the 50 percentile.
Do you think they could remake this movie?
No, I don't. Would I watch a TV series where they kept the gag going for like 3 or 4 seasons? Absolutely. A couple episodes before he dies, and then like you just stretch it out, and it's been like 3 years, and he's just rotting, and they're still just dragging his corpse around.
Oh god!
I mean, come on, yeah, I'd watch that.
At some point, rigor mortis does set in. I mean, it's
that makes him easier to carry around. It's great. He's just stiff. It's great. Hey, there was a sequel. This movie was so popular.
They came out with a sequel. They did come out with a sequel.
And the sequel's real bad. but that only serves to prop up how great the first one was.
Oh,
so I mean,
man.
could it be made today? I don't know. We could remake this, sure. Uh, I would watch it, and Andrew McCarthy could play the dead guy.
There you go.
I had a thing for Andrew McCarthy back in the day. He's good. He's good peeps.
You did. All right, the number ones, Charlie.
Ours will not be the same.
Don't be mad at me, Charlie.
Oh God, what did you do? Did you put Batman versus Superman?
No.
I'm gonna walk out. All right. Okay.
I put The Rise of Skywalker because I enjoyed this movie.
I'm not
Yes.
ready for that.
Yeah. I realized that there were problems with the sequel trilogy. I realized that not everybody enjoyed it. They didn't seem like they really had a plan as they put this together. Yes, the movies feel a bit disjointed, but you know what? Like, I really enjoyed this. This was a really fun Star Wars movie, and fun in a different way than Man of Steel was, because this one was like had a lot of action and had lightsaber battles and had some romance that I liked. Maybe not everybody else did, but I liked the romance. It had some twists and some turns and some returns and lots of spaceships and lots of stuff, Charlie. There was so much stuff going on in this movie, and I liked it all. So, yeah, it was... This one has a 51% critic score, but an 86% audience score.
Good.
Now, as I was looking this up, Charlie, you are not a fan of The Last Jedi.
No, that is a fair statement.
Do you know what The Last Jedi has? It's very strange.
I would guess it has a maybe like a reverse, like maybe a 70 critic score and then maybe like a 60
it has
audience or something like that.
The audience score of The Last Jedi is 42%, and the critic score is 90%.
Oh God.
90%.
No.
Crazy, right? No, I mean,
No.
I still enjoyed Last Jedi. Well, I'm not talking about Last Jedi, but I still enjoyed it. But this one had a 51%. I thought this was way better than a 51%. I could still turn this movie on anytime and watch it and have a blast. So it's, I agree way more with the audience score being at 86% than the critic score on this one. I thought 51% is way too low. Like, if you want to put like Phantom Menace or something like that low, then sure. Those are
50s. Yeah.
Those are not great, but this one is so much better than something like Phantom Menace. And I don't know if critics were going in expecting or what they were expecting. Were they expecting more of? But critics also loved Last Jedi, and so were they going in looking for Last Jedi? Were they going in looking for more like Empire? Like I don't really get it. But I thought 51 was way too low for this. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the heck out of this. I'll watch it anytime, and I'll have fun. Doggone it. So there you go. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker is my number one movie that I enjoy that the critics don't. Because they're wrong. Those critics are wrong. All right.
Are you ready? Are you ready for my number one?
What is your number one? Do you think I could guess it?
I don't. I think I could give you enough clues that maybe you could get there someday, but no,
right.
Straight up guess, no chance.
All right. I can't even think of one. All right, you're number one. I'll just go to it. Oh, this is low rated?
So I Married an Ex-Murder. So this has a 51% critic score.
The same as my number one.
Audience. Yeah, it's what a shame. What a shame. The critic I will highlight here says comedian Mike Myers is best handled in incredibly small doses, which this obviously predates. This was '93, so Wayne's World was '92.
Okay.
Then we get So I Married an Axe Murder. So maybe there was a little bit of Mike Myers fatigue setting in with some people. And then all of a sudden Austin Powers came, and Mike Myers was a thing he had a nice little run of movies.
He did.
If you don't like Mike Myers, if you don't like Wayne's World, and maybe you don't like Austin Powers, maybe this isn't the comedy for you. But I think this is better than all of the Austin Powers, or at least in a different way. I think this is a better, more like mainstream accessible film. Very quotable,
sure.
A lot of memorable moments, very laugh out loud funny, and featuring the late great Charles Grodin in a small role. He is always fantastic, but a really nice cast. It's unfortunately not on any streaming services.
Really?
Yeah, it's very funny. If you get a chance to watch it,
very funny.
Watch it. I think it's a really funny comedy, and I don't think you have to particularly love Mike Myers to enjoy it, but it would help. So, yeah, this is my number one. I saw this in the theaters on a date in high school at Uni Theaters in over by UCI.
Yeah.
It was worth the extra distance to drive to that particular theater because it wasn't playing in a lot of theaters in my area.
Huh.
And it was I just laughed the whole time, and I loved the soundtrack, by the way. The Laws cover of There She Goes. I still teach that in guitar lessons. I think that's a really nice cover of that song. And it's a good little soundtrack, nice little movie. Check it out.
I'm surprised that
my
this
number
was
one.
that was that low. That's
yeah.
I think back fondly to this movie, and I feel like in general,
it's a good movie.
Most people talk about it in a positive light. So I'm surprised that critics didn't like it. Also,
critics are dumb.
I like that it was available on video cassette, Laserdisc, and 8mm.
Heck yeah!
I didn't even realize that you could get movies on 8mm in '93. I mean, Laserdisc wasn't really much of a thing in '93. It's wild.
So I saw this movie with Trisha Kidder, who was mean, not funny, and later I found out that her dad was my eye doctor.
Okay.
We didn't date for very long. It was not serious at all. I was way too young to even be dating, and it was just and at one point I'm in an eye exam in my like 16 or something. I'm getting my eyes checked, and he's like, I think briefly you dated my daughter.
Wow.
Like, no, please don't laser my eyes, sir. It was not a meaningful enough relationship for you to do anything to my vision.
That's
but it was like the most awkward eye point. I believe I recognize your name. That, by the way, a spot on impression. Perfect.
Really?
I believe you dated my daughter. Everyone who had him as an eye doctor right now is going, yeah, that's him.
There you go.
That's the guy.
There you go. Well, there you go, Charlie. Good list. Good list. My thing. I go there? Do I go there? Could go there.
Where are you going?
You got to send me that picture. All right. Well, there is our list.
Dark times, man. Dark times.
If you're watching, what do you think? What do you think of our lists? Charlie,
yeah,
I know that there's some that you disagree with on my list. That you don't like.
Only one. Only the Superman.
Just one?
Everything else. I didn't. The only movies that I didn't see on your list, I think, were I have not seen the Hobbit one, so I can't comment on that, and I've never seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated.
Oh, you should show the kids the Ninja Turtle one. I don't know if it's streaming it. No, why not?
I don't know. If it's streaming somewhere, maybe I will. Maybe one day.
It's a good one. My kids really like it. I have it on Blu-ray.
Okay. All right, B. Well, can we can I just a quick little roundabout here?
Sure.
I did look at some just guilty pleasure lists,
Okay.
and people are putting like Ghostbusters and things like that on their guilty pleasure list. Stop with the nonsense. You cannot try to sound smart with a guilty pleasure list. Don't put great films on your guilty pleasure list. Put movies like My Boyfriend's Back.
Yeah.
That is the kind of movie that needs your attention. Look at it. Hey, I'm a zombie high school kid over here. Come on, give me some love.
Although he looks like he's 30. There's no way he's in high school. I mean, he's...
Well, Brody, I mean, he did die and come back to life. It takes a toll. I mean, come on.
He looks like he's our age now. I mean...
Hey, that was, like, did you see Beverly Hills 90210? I mean, they were like 40 when they made that show. I mean, come on.
That's true.
We're high schoolers. Well, anyway, if you're interested at all in seeing more quality content like this, make sure to check out some other videos of ours below me, or perhaps you'd like to hit that like and subscribe button over by Brodo over there underneath his beard. Click the like and subscribe, and you also can grow a beard as magnificent as his. Until next Wednesday, we will see you then.
Bye.